Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Unity in the Seven Hills. Good to see you all. You're going to have to help me out with the singing this morning. My voice is a little, I've got a little rough. I've got a bit of a cough, so yeah, you guys are going to have to help me out. So let's stand and we'll sing a few songs together. No matter where you come from, no matter where you're going, here's a place where you can take comfort in the knowing where you'll come to stay a while. Just passing through, this door is open to you. Come and let's be silent, come let's share a hug, come let's pray together, come love and be loved. From the blissed out to the turned out, the pampered to the abused, this door is open to you. Come on in, come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. Whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you. Bass solo. If there's some kind of trouble or pain you're going through, know that you are not alone and someone cares for you. As an individualization of a divine point of view, this door is open to you. Come on in, come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. Whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you. Whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you. Woo! We're going to keep it going with We're going to continue on this morning. This is the chorus of a great song called Amazing Things, which many of you will know. It's easy to pick up. Amazing. Hang on. There it is. Amazing. Amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing. Amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Yes, you will. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. We will do amazing things. Now let's take it back into ourselves. Amazing, amazing. I will do amazing, amazing things. Amazing, amazing. I will do amazing things. Thank you. Good morning, everybody.
We good? There we go. Didn't think about the fact that I would need a microphone for this. All right, let's go ahead and pray for the morning. If you will, close your eyes and join me. Let's start by taking some deep breaths all the way into the belly. On that gravity, carry it out. Let the breath bring you to this moment, in this place, in this time. Today we are blessed to have Greg Burns with us and his singing bowls. And as the sound from these bowls ripples out with healing effect, so too let the peace and the love in our hearts not stay with us, but also ripple out. reaching others. May our message ripple out, reaching others. May it help all beings everywhere be happy and free. Amen.
Now for our unity principle of the week. Each week we will state one of the 5 basic unity principles. Today our principle is, it is not enough to understand spiritual teachings, we must live the truth we know. Let's say that together. It is not enough to understand spiritual teachings, we must live the truth we know. And now we bless our youth together.
You are a perfect child of God, and God and I love you, just the way you are and wherever you are. Let's all stand and sing. We're going to sing this morning, This Bright Light of Mine. This bright light of mine. Hang on, wait a sec. Hang on, let's do it together though. Hang on, stop. This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All the time, come on now. This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Bum bum. All right, turn this guitar off, I'm gonna tune it up.
Hello? Okay, that was
Oh,
fun.
is it? Oh.
All right, now let us affirm our mission statement together. That is our yeah. There we go. Thank you. All right, Unity in the Seven Hills is a vibrant, inclusive community that inspires individual spiritual growth through education, prayer, heart connection, and sacred service. And now our vision. Centered in spirit, we see a world transformed by divine love, where innovative solutions are celebrated and all needs are met. And now it's for our daily word. World peace. I live my vision for a peaceful world. To bring about peace in the world, I begin by paying attention to my first reaction when I feel I have been treated unjustly. I do not deny my feelings, but neither do I allow anger, envy, or any negative feelings to take control of my response. I feel my feelings, but I remain committed to living the truth I know. Regardless of behavior, every person is a divine being, a living expression of God. I call upon my divine faculties of love, faith, and strength to guide my next steps. No matter how another responds, I remain centered in God. My efforts make a difference. Peace between individuals creates peace within families and communities and among the nations of the world. The effect of righteousness will be peace, and the result of righteousness, quietness, and trust forever. Isaiah 32:17.
Well, there you go. So, thanks, Bill. So this is a song I wrote a few years ago after it was an incident that caused a lot of hurt and pain in America. I can't breathe in this injustice. I can't breathe as I see your pain. To feel this world be torn apart, another life lost again. Mother, what have we done? How can we go from here? How can we dream our futures and draw each other near? We will rise above, take a stand for love. We will rise above, we believe in love. We will rise above, take a stand for love. We will rise above, we believe in love. We highlight separation, hide behind our masks, live lives of isolation, anchored by our past. So where do we go from here? Look each other in the eye, draw each other near, as the people learn to fly. We will rise above, take a stand for love. We will rise above, we believe in love. We will rise above, take a stand for love. We believe in love. We will rise above. Lock arms across this land, walk together hand in hand, stand together as one, until this job is done. I will breathe to see the justice, I will breathe and I'll feel your pain. I will live to see this world unite, put back together again. I will breathe to see this justice, I will breathe and feel your pain. I will live to see this world unite, put back together again. We will rise above, take a stand for love. We will rise above, we believe in love. We will rise above, take a stand for love. We will rise above, we believe in love. 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 So, Greg Burns is a sound practitioner who leads classes and events for meditation and sound healing. Using his knowledge, bass, and his wide array of instruments, including gongs, singing bowls, and more, Greg provides direct experiences of deep relaxation and meditative states. Helping to foster wellness and personal transformation, he has shared these experiences all over the Mid-Atlantic region over the last 8 years. After working for 15 years in a therapeutic hospital, providing Greg with a broad understanding of wellness and healing, you can learn more about his sound healing business or contact Greg directly at www.mettavibrations.com. So mettavibrations.com. Greg Burns, thank you.
Morning, everyone. I'm happy to be here with you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for coming out to be here. I'm not used to talking in this kind of setting, so bear with me as I catch my breath and make sure I don't stumble on myself, that kind of thing. My name's Greg. I'm a practitioner in the art of sound healing. And that's becoming a more common phrase, sound healing, in today's world. But you might also ask, what is that? What is sound healing? If I were to try and give a real simple answer to that, it might be, well, we use sound, kind of musical type sound, but not exactly music, to help us. That's just a real general, broad answer to that. But to get more detailed into that, you might ask, well, we need to define these terms. What is sound and what is healing so that we have a shared understanding? And I like talking about all of this. And I think there's different ways that everybody can understand it for their own benefit. But so let's try and do that maybe. What is sound? If we were to try to define sound, how would you define it? Anybody have anything they want to throw out? Vibration. Great. That's perfect. I mean, because that's what sound really, at its essence, is vibration. Now, really, the experience of sound is a very personal and human kind of thing, actually. So vibrations tickle these hairs on our ears, and then it funnels itself down inside of us somewhere, and then we have this experience that we call sound, right? And so, yes, sound is vibration at its essence. That's where it begins. And so then what is healing? If we were to say, let's define these things, what is healing? Well, let me step back just a second and say, well, but sound doesn't only happen in our ears. That's one thing that we know this intuitively, but we don't always remember it consciously necessarily. But we do know that sound vibrations interact with our whole being, our spiritual self, our emotional self, our mental self, and our physical self. The ears are just a small part of our physical body, but if you think of, we have everyday examples to tell us that sound interacts with more than just our ears. And one example might be something like an alarm clock, an everyday thing that we all use for various things. But it has an intended effect on us. It's a sound that we know has an intended effect on us, and we can use it in that very specific way. And nobody's going to come to events that I want to do and lay down and listen to alarm clocks all day, but an alarm clock is used to make your mind alert, right? To wake you up, to make your mind alert, get your heart going a little bit. Lo and behold, it does those things. That's the intended effect, and that's the outcome. Now, a different sound might work differently for each of us, and that's part of our uniqueness. So we don't all use the same alarm sound in here, but we all have when we need an alarm, we know that we have a tool that we can use to apply for that reason. So sound affects more than just our ears. It goes into more than just our ears, and we know that from music as well. I mean, I love that this service is so musical. What a great way to come together and try and lead to our higher selves, whatever that is. And I think music is a powerful way to help us do that. And music moves us. I mean, it moves your body. We all got in here and we were moving and clapping, and because music does move more than just your ear. It goes into more than just your ears. It's your whole body receiving this, and your whole body responds to that. Okay, so sound, so we just established that sound is vibration at its essence, and it does more than just go into our ears. Um, and so healing, what is healing? You know, that's a complicated question sometimes, right? And in America, we have kind of, I think, a limited viewpoint normally that we think of healing with. We're very familiar with thinking of it as something physical. You go to the doctor to fix something that's broken. You need to heal an injury, so to speak. But really, the root of healing is to be whole. And if we think of what it means to be whole, that encompasses a lot more than just our physical container and how it's doing right now. So healing is about something much grander than just taking care of your body or repairing a broken limb or something like that that happens to us. Healing is about our whole being. And music, sound, is one of those things that touches on every part of us. You know, it interacts with our mind, our body, our emotions. So our central nervous system, our feeling centers. Music and sound interacts directly with that part of us. And we all know this, you know, music was just moving us a little bit ago, but we have other examples too. I don't know if you've seen any of the videos or read any of the stories of where they're working with Alzheimer's and dementia patients using music to spark them again and bring them back to life. And you know, that's the central nervous system that's building plaque and building plaque and building plaque to where there's, but somehow music and sound has a way to reach through all of that and go back to some memory place that can't be touched. So I don't know that I can fully articulate it here to you how that works, what that means. But I think it's really fascinating to illuminate the power that sound can have. Even when we're in that physical condition, somehow it reaches way down into places that are deep inside of us. So we've given some loose definition to what sound is and what healing is. And when I was thinking about coming and talking here today, I said, well, you know, how am I going to tie what I do into whatever they're talking about today? And I think I'm going to try and tie it into today's principle, which it might not say it exactly as it was said on the board, but my understanding is it's not enough to know, we have to live it. And I believe that fully myself. I mean, it's not enough to know, we have to live it. That's not always easy, but we have to try. Another way I've heard it put is action is needed. And so I'm going to try and talk a little bit and try and illuminate how actually we all do already know the power of sound. It's something that we know. And we do actually act on it, both individually and collectively already. But I think we probably have room to bring more consciousness and intention to it. And so maybe that's something you might be able to take away from today. I don't know. So we know that sound has power. We've kind of talked about that a little bit ago, about how it can move us, how it affects the body. And we do use sound in our own personal lives. Probably each of us has music that we turn to at various times in our lives, maybe to either match or elicit a certain emotional state. Again, going back to sound interacts directly with the nervous system. But when we're sad, we probably all have a song or an album or number of songs that's what we want to listen to right then. It really gets us into that feeling space. And I don't know if we're trying to get to a feeling space or if we're trying to match where we're at. I don't know which is happening, but I know that we all intuitively do that. Or almost all of us, I would think. And but there's other ways that we use, like when we want to motivate ourselves. We probably all have a nice song that we might put on to really get ourselves, I got to clean today and I'm really not feeling it. Well, okay, crank on that 90s heavy metal and get going, or whatever it is for you. We all, and athletes use, I remember being on sports teams and we always had songs that we listened to before the game because that's what got us into the right state of being. And that's, how I work is that music and sound really affects our state of being. And so I think this is powerful information to have as we try to navigate life. One time, a lesson I got taught really early about how powerful sound is beyond just a thing that comes in our ears, is I worked at a therapy center. I think they mentioned it, for 15 years. And when I was there was a week or so that I was in this snack shop kind of writing notes before my shift started every day. And I was just in there. And this snack shop had a jukebox back in the day when they actually had jukeboxes. And this group of deaf girls came in, and they went right to the jukebox, and they put in money, and they started playing music. And they were there for the next 20 or 30 minutes. And I was fascinated by this. I was fairly young at the time. I didn't know a lot. I was just questioning all kinds of things. And then I watched them do this the next day, and I watched them do it the next day. And it was probably about the fourth day when I got the courage up to say, I have to ask. I know you're deaf, and I see you come in here every day and you go right to the jukebox, but you can't hear it. And they said, yeah, you're right, we can't hear it, but we feel it. We feel this music. And that was a big lesson for me that it is so much more. There's so much more going on with music and sound. And so whether we consciously are thinking about that, we're intuitively aware of that. And so those are some of the ways that we individually use sound, whether we are doing it intentionally or not. But our culture also uses sound. There's a collective understanding of the power of music and sound and its importance in our lives. Cultural rituals and celebrations, not just in America, but everywhere, as far back as we know, have been using sound and music as a part of that. And I think there's a recognition that it helps elicit certain states of being. It changes us. It affects our consciousness. It affects our emotions. And so we've kind of embedded that in certain things in our culture. You think about a wedding. I bet you there's some songs you might think of every time you go to a wedding, right? But that's a cultural use of sound. Funerals, birthdays, graduations. We might not think of these as rituals so much, but they are. They're cultural rituals that we have, and they all have music attached to them, because I think we do know that music really has this powerful effect on us. And in ancient China, there was actually in their culture at one time, they set up their whole culture around sound. They believed that there was a divine sound that was inaudible, kind of almost like the Hindus might believe the Om. There's a divine sound in the cosmos driving everything. And for them, they knew that it was inaudible, but they wanted to identify some sound that they could use in their lives to connect with that idea, that understanding. And they called that kung, which actually translates to yellow bell, which is interesting, right? Yellow bell. But it was the emperor's job to make sure that all things in the culture were in alignment with this tone that they would then develop. And they used all sorts of cosmological understandings to develop this tone. But then it was the emperor's task to make sure that everything was falling in alignment with this tone, because being in alignment with this cosmic tone is what was the most important thing for all of them, the whole society. So it's a pretty important task, and I think it's really, it again shows that even way back, way back, when we didn't have all these fancy ways to make music and sound and that sort of thing, that we saw the power in it, we knew the power in it. Bells, are a big thing with spiritual traditions, because they call to your consciousness in a certain way. Any sound could have been chosen to make that sound. I think way back in the day, part of it was what's a big enough sound to go over the hills and prairies to reach people so they would know it's time to gather. But if you pay attention to a bell, there's also a certain quality to that sound that kind of makes you stop and take notice in a different way than other sounds might do. So we've had this knowledge of how powerful sound and music can be for us, how it can affect us for a long time. And we still use it today, whether we're using it consciously or not. And it's still embedded in our culture. So we really have this dynamic and powerful relationship with sound. And another way to be aware of how it works with us individually is, we established that sound was vibrations, and they go into more than just our ears. And a unique quality to vibrations is they move 4 times faster when they hit water. How much water are we made of? We're made of a lot of water. And I think they say 60 or 70%. And, so when vibrations get into us, they even pick up speed, and they start doing more and more within us. So, it's another way of knowing that really sound moves through us in a powerful way. And there's another sound that I'm not really going to get into today, but I feel like I would be remiss not to mention it because it's such a powerful sound in our culture, and that's language. We need to remember that language is a sound, and in the same way, we all can recognize that language affects us, right? We've all been uplifted by language. We've all been torn down by language. We've all had these experiences. So language is powerful. I don't know if any of you have seen the experiments they've done in some schools where they take two identical, like house plants, and they just have them there. And the student body is asked, when you pass this plant, you say negative, mean, bullying things to this plant. And when you pass this plant, you say beautiful, loving, compassionate things to this plant. And both were given the same amount of light, both given the same amount of nutrients and water. And if you look at the results of how those plants then grow going forward, it is alarming. I mean, alarming. One is almost dead, and one is thriving like it's been in the rainforest. And these are in the same environment. They're just getting different inputs. And so I'm not, language is a whole rabbit hole to go down in its own regard. I'm not going to do that today. But I do just want to bring it to your awareness to pay attention to language. And so that's my end message about today is that sound, music, it affects us greatly. That includes language. It affects your mind, your body, your spirit, your emotions, all of you. And so as much as you're able, I encourage you to pay attention to the sounds in your life, how they affect you, how they make you feel, how they make your mind work. Of course, none of us get to control all the sounds of life, and we live in a time when noise pollution is a real thing. It's hard to find quiet spaces. And knowing that it's hard to find quiet spaces, even if you go in nature, you're probably going to hear a bus or an interstate or a plane or you can't even get away from it in nature anymore. So certainly I find it valuable to identify the sounds that help you. And there's not a universal anything to that. That's where we have to listen inside ourselves, pay attention to how something's making us feel, making our own mind work. And I guarantee you that you'll find some sounds that help you. I don't know what they are, and they'll differ for each one of us in this room. But I encourage and invite everybody to pay attention to sounds, pay attention to the language in your life, the language you use, how it makes you feel. These things are important. They're affecting us. And again, we don't get to control everything, but we don't have a shield for sound either. We don't have a way to block it out. So controlling your environments, paying attention to those elements of it. And that's where, so going back to the beginning where I say, I think we do know intuitively that sound impacts us. Each of us, we do know that. That's why we have music we love. And so as much consciousness, as much intention as we can bring to that, it'll help us. So on that note, one of the instruments I do use is a Tibetan singing bowl. And they're fascinating instruments too, and they elicit a type of sound that has a different quality than some other instruments. They work with a lot of overtones, and I won't get too much into the technicalities of them, but so I think I'm going to start the meditation. But first I'd like to just play that singing bowl a little bit for you to kind of lead us into that meditative state. That's kind of how they work. They help to quiet the mind, which instead of, meditation's a big buzzword in our culture, but for good reason. Monks and mystics have been telling us for thousands and thousands of years to meditate. It's good for you. And lo and behold, in today's world with our scientific instruments, we can hook people up and test them, and they're right. Meditation's very good for us. We should do it. But again, we live in this loud, this busy, overwhelming, chaotic culture. So finding quiet space and the time to quiet your mind can be challenging. So maybe there's things out there like singing bowls or sounds that you can find. Nature sounds are really known to help in that sort of way as well. Brown noise. Most of us have heard of white noise, but brown noise is kind of the same thing where they're using the full spectrum of sound, but there's a more focus on low tones, and low tones are known to be a little more healing. So anyway, there's things out there that you can access, sounds out there that you can access that will help, and that's kind of why I use these instruments. I found that they helped me, and then I wanted to share that with others. So I would invite you to maybe just for a moment close your eyes with me and take a good deep breath, trying to allow the belly to fill. And just allow your mind to kind of focus on the sound for just a little bit. And then as the singing bowl fades, let's just keep our eyes closed and stay in this quiet, still space together for just a few moments. And let's maybe take another good deep breath in. Hold for just a moment and then release. And let's do one more. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes again, allow yourself to come back to this room. And thank you very much for letting me come and talk with you today. I appreciate it.
The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. And the presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever I am, God is. And all is well.
Hello? Okay. Hi. And now let us affirm our abundance together. Unity in the Seven Hills is abundantly blessed. Creative people are drawn to us. Financial resources bless us. And we accomplish mighty works together. And with that abundance, it's time to share our blessings. This month we are tithing to support. What are we supporting this month? Interfaith outreach. We are tithing to support interfaith outreach, in addition to tithing to our greater unity community. There are 4 ways to give: Zelle, check, cash, or PayPal, or click the link below if you're on YouTube. You can also still send it through mail. That's still a thing. As our greeter directs your row to go, place any gifts in the basket up front, then join the circle around the sanctuary. If all you have to give today is love, please just bless our basket. Now let's sing something wonderful. And also, I just want to say you did amazing today.
Thank you. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body, oh, I can feel it in my soul. I can feel it in my heart, and it won't let go, no, it won't let go. All this love inside. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body, nice. I can feel it in my soul. I can feel it in my heart, and it won't let go, no, it won't let go. All this love inside. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body. I can feel it in my soul. I can feel it in my heart, and it won't let go, no, it won't let go. All this love inside. We can live it inside out, yes we can. Something wonderful. We're the top of the circle. The blessing of the gifts. Divine love. Let's bless our gifts together. So, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. United in mind, body, and spirit, I dedicate these gifts as they grow to bless our community, our neighborhood, and our world.
Testing, okay. And now for our closing statement, our announcements. Thank you for joining us today. To see a list of our upcoming events and ongoing classes, go to unityinthesevenhills.org. I'll repeat, unityinthesevenhills.org. For those here live, copies of the calendar are in the back. Here's what's happening. Today at 1 p.m., Greg Burns will be holding a sound bath.
Woohoo.
The event is only $25. Last year, the sound bath proved to be one of our best attended events, and it didn't disappoint. From their website, utilizing singing bowls, gong, drums, and more, he organizes sessions for individuals or groups that will help quiet the mind, relax the body, and put us in contact with our own deeper aspects. Angels 101 will be starting this Wednesday, April 19th at 1 p.m. You can join either in person or online. We will look at the importance of angels through the ages, in many religions, and the experiential ways of appreciating the angelic messengers in our lives. Class will be led by angel communicator, intuitive artist, and spiritual leader Pamela Smith and Reverend Rick. If you are interested in joining, sign up at the information station or send an email to hp4360@gmail.com. Yeah, or just contact the office. Please put Angels 101 in the subject line. This Thursday, April 20th, Ari will lead the new one-to-oneness group where we will dive into those who wrote about oneness and how we feel, express, and experience it. Class will begin at the, how do you pronounce that?
Bhagavad Gita.
He's got it, I don't.
Bhagavad Gita.
If you have the book, fantastic. If not, that's okay too. The class will meet every Thursday at 7 p.m. following meditation. It will be a hybrid class, so if you can't make it, be sure to show up on the Zoom. Sign-up sheet is also at our information station. If you are interested in becoming a member of the Unity in the Seven Hills, there will be new members class following the Sunday, April 30th. If you have any questions, speak to Reverend Rick or contact the office. By popular demand from our study of The Universe is Calling by Eric Butterworth, we invite you to an ongoing prayer discussions group starting April 30th. We will begin with a look at the anatomy of the prayer. The Anatomy of Prayer, a 4-part video series by Reverend Richard Burdick of Unity North Atlantic. Meetings will be on Zoom Sunday nights at 7:30 p.m. Yeah, today we will be opening we have a grand opening of the bookstore. I did not read this beforehand. Stop after service and see the new bookstore.
We're turning the page.
Yeah, I'm so excited now. Your prayer chaplain today is it? Regina.
Oh, Regina.
It's my mom, Regina. She will be around to hold space with you. We are about to sing the peace song and gather for coffee, but before we do, if you're watching from home, like, comment, and subscribe. And click that bell icon for notifications. It's the easiest way to access our live streams. And don't forget to join for the sound bath at 1 p.m.
And I have one quick announcement. Right after the peace song, if we could all get some help moving the chairs to the side, because we're going to be having the sound bath up here so people can lie on the floor and get comfortable. So if I can get some help for that, I appreciate it. Thank you.
So let's sing the peace song together. Yes, there's peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, united all with me. Cheers. Thanks, everybody.